It's 4 o'clock. It's my honor to call the Historic Preservation Commission of the City of Eureka to order. May we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Fair,
Present.
Commissioner Knight,
Present.
Commissioner Loring,
Present.
Commissioner Herlihy,
Present.
every time, Commissioner Smith,
Present.
and we are missing Commissioner Sievertson and Commissioner Summers today.
We do not have any continued public hearings. We have a new public hearing. Would you like to give us the report on that? Oh, I'm sorry. We got to do the approval of the minutes. The minutes have been distributed to you. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes as distributed? If there are no additions or corrections, are there any objections to adopting the minutes as they were distributed? Hearing no objections, so ordered. Now we move on to the new public hearing. Would you like to present that report to us?
All right, just a moment. Good evening, Commissioners. Henry Baker, Assistant Planner for the City of Eureka, presenting for your consideration the Columbia Bank sign installation at 701 5th Street. Is it up on Zoom? Okay, there we go. So here's the bird's eye view of the project location in the context of city limits. It is 701 5th Street is in downtown Eureka. And zooming in, we can see the property is on a corner lot at 5th and H Streets, approximately a 0.3 acre lot outlined here in yellow. The lot contains a 3-story masonry building shown here in blue. And the applicant proposes to replace 2 signs on the southwest corner of the building, shown here in red. Here are some images, courtesy of the Humboldt Project, showing the building as it was constructed. According to the Green Book, the building was built in 1909 and is described as a 3-story brick commercial building, heavily altered, built as the Elks Hall. EurekaHistory.com adds, and the upper 2 floors were occupied by the Elks until the early 70s. Since then, the Elks have relocated to the Herrick Avenue site, and the building has since been used as a bank. The image here on bottom shows the building as it exists today. As you can see, the building has been heavily altered since its construction. At some point, the cornices and ornamentation were removed from the roof line, and the storefront on the corner was walled in. An awning was added to the east wall just around the corner in the photograph here. And the inside of the building was reinforced with a steel-like cage structure for seismic retrofitting in 1989. A number of signs have been added and removed over the years. There were 2 signs on the... Oh, just a moment. There they are. Oh, sorry. Backing up. The stucco arches and fabric dome-style awnings are not part of the original building, but were added in the 90s. And then a number of signs were installed, 2 along the roof line, and then 1 projecting corner sign, and then the 2 signs that we are considering today. So Umpqua Bank is changing its name back to Columbia Bank and is replacing signs at the subject property as part of the rebranding. The 2 replacement signs are 55.75 square feet each, and they will be on the 5th and H Street frontages. Each sign is composed of 13 individual pieces, 1 graphic element, and 12 letters. The graphic element is internally lit, and the letters are not. Here's a before and after rendering of each facade. And each piece will be fastened to the wall with 3/16 inch metal screws with alligator anchors drilled directly into the bricks. Each piece requires a minimum of 4 anchors to mount. Therefore, 104 anchors are required to mount the signs. Eureka Municipal Code, Section 157.6c, requires a proposed alteration be reviewed in light of its effect on the existing historical character of the affected structure as it relates to the streetscape. In addition, the analysis in the staff report was based on the Secretary of Interior standards for the treatment of historic properties. specifically the standards for rehabilitation, which involves minor repair and alterations while preserving the historic character of the structure. A full analysis is included in the staff report. However, staff believes that the project meets the standards for rehabilitation with 3 added conditions. Namely, the applicant shall obtain any required permits or authorizations, including building and fire department approvals, encroachment permits from city engineering and Caltrans, and a sign permit for the installation of the 2 signs. Second, the sign shall be mounted using the fewest number of new holes by reusing as many previously drilled holes as possible. Remaining anchor holes shall be patched with putty or mortar which matches the original masonry color, and new anchor holes shall be drilled directly into brick instead of mortar and using the gentlest means possible. Lastly, the applicant shall undertake the project as approved by Historic Preservation Commission, and any deviation in design, architectural style, or exterior appearance from those currently proposed and conditioned shall have prior approval. So based on these findings and analysis demonstrated in the staff report, staff believes that the proposed alteration meets the standards for rehabilitation as conditioned. Therefore, the recommendation is to hold a public hearing and adopt a resolution finding the project is exempt from CEQA and conditionally approving the application. I have a suggested motion when you're ready, and the applicant's representative and myself are here to answer any questions you have.
Thank you. Any questions of staff? I had a question. Did I hear you say that the applicant has been instructed to drill the anchors into the brick rather than the mortar?
Yes, historic mortar tends to be more brittle than the bricks themselves. And so to maintain the wall as it is, the recommendation is to drill into the bricks, which can hold the screws much better.
Right, except that that's not a historic wall. That's a wall that's considerably younger than I am, which is not saying much.
Well, the Secretary of Interior standards specify that we should treat the wall as though it were historic, given that it may have acquired some historic significance since its installation, being over 50 years old.
In prior applicants, my recollection, which is fallible, is that, for example, on the Ricks building, we required that the signs be mounted on fixtures drilled into the mortar to preserve the bricks. Mortar is fungible. Bricks aren't.
I was not aware of that.
Any other questions of staff? Okay, then we move into the public hearing phase. The applicant is virtually present, or does the applicant wish to address the commission on this matter?
Good afternoon. My name is Michelle, and I represent Columbia Bank on this. And I believe the city clerk did a fantastic job of presenting the presentation, and I really don't have anything extra to add. And it sounds like there aren't really any questions, so I don't have anything more to add now.
Thank you. Does the commission have any questions of the applicant? All right, then thank you for your presentation. Is there anyone else in the virtual audience who wishes to address the commission on this matter?
Virtual audience, the rest of them are all staff.
Okay. And I don't see any bodies unless they're hiding in the audience. So I sense that there's no one who wishes to comment on this matter further. So I will close the public hearing and bring this matter back to the commission for consideration. What is your pleasure? Please put up the draft motion. And what is your pleasure?
I could make a motion.
You may.
All right. I move the Historic Preservation Commission adopt a resolution finding the project exempt from CEQA and conditionally approving the Columbia Bank sign installation at 701 5th Street.
Any discussion?
When we had the orthodontics office in front of us for this very same process, there was discussion about the font style of the sign they wanted to put up and whether it would be appropriate or not. given the era of the building. Clearly, this font is very modern and appropriate for the bank per its logo, and I'm sure they put lots of money into developing it. And also, the Umpqua logo wouldn't strike me as historic either. Where do we have latitude or jurisdiction in this matter?
I think that's a question for staff.
I don't have any experience with that either. I mean, right, we're not supposed to replicate new things. There's been some, like in our design review section, our old design review regulations, it said it barred copying old stuff, right? So, but if you need to change the font to make the findings, but this is really we're doing an alteration under the standards, so that does allow for adaptive reuse, so it does allow for new things. Also, you are able to consider finance it, the financial aspect of it. So what would that entail if they had to get a new font? I don't know. We didn't even think about the font.
As a practical matter, that is the bank's logo. They ain't going to change it.
And generally speaking, we want to avoid creating a facsimile of a historic resource so that it is distinct from the historic resource.
Yeah. The building in its current context, I date from the 80s, really. And Arial is just a fine font for the 80s. Does anyone share my concern with regard to the mounting of the sign elements?
As somebody that's tried to work with brick before and mortar, I agree. It's a lot easier to repair mortar than it is to repair bricks.
All right. Then I shouldn't do this as the chair, but I will. I would recommend an amendment. I move an amendment to the motion requiring the applicant to, where feasible, mount the anchor bolts in mortar. That is a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Is there any discussion of the motion? That sounds great. If there's no discussion, then I'll call for a vote on the motion. On the amendment alone. All in favor of the amendment, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, signify by saying nay. The motion, the amendment passes unanimously. Now, is there any debate on the amended motion? It appears that you're ready for a vote, unless there's an objection. Oh, we didn't? My apologies. I am just moving too fast. Let's back up. Do we have a second for the initial motion?
I'll second it.
All right, we have a second. Can you splice the tape so that happens at the right time? Yeah, okay. All right, so we have an amended motion at this point. Any further debate? Seeing none, all in favor? Yes.
I guess I'd just like to clarify that your amended motion is to change condition B. Just want to clarify, you're changing condition B, the treatment of masonry, to require that the holes are in the mortar instead of the brick. So basically,
Wherever
swap
feasible.
language. Yep, wherever feasible. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Again, any discussions, questions, debate? All right. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Appears to be unanimous in favor. So, would you like to inform the applicant what we just did?
Yes. So, following the decision today, there's a 10-day appeal period, at which point you may apply for your sign permits, encroachment permits as necessary, and a building permit.
Anything further on this matter? If not, then we move on. The agenda does not contain any old business or new business. Is there any new business not agended? Then we move on to director's reports and communications. Access Humboldt.
Yeah, a public commenter last time asked about why the Historic Preservation Commission is not broadcast to Access Humboldt. So I did some digging and I spoke with the city clerk and assistant city manager Pam Powell, as well as our senior IT, Derek Howard, who helps run the meetings, is the magic behind the screen. And I have some information to share, and I'm going to try to do it quickly because I try to turn all their information to speaking points. So just a little bit of background. The city did start streaming meetings to YouTube in January of 2024. For all city boards and commissions. So this allows for live viewing as well as archived playback. This approach, they believe, improved video quality and reliability since our own IT staff, like Derek, was able to manage the meetings directly from City Hall. The cost so Access Humboldt right now is only broadcast for Planning Commission and City Council meetings, and there was a reason for that. First, I'll talk about the cost. So there's a 2-hour minimum plus mileage, so that averages about $125 per meeting. But if we did it for the Historic Preservation Commission, we would have to do it for all boards and commissions consistently, and that makes there's a lot of scheduling conflicts with that because Access Humboldt does broadcast like Arcadas and Humboldt counties and a bunch of other boards and commissions. So I guess Arcata City Council meets at 6 p.m. today. So if Access Humboldt was to broadcast and we were to have complicated meetings, we would have to end it right early so that way they could make it over to Arcata, because they do have staff that actually come and sit in City Hall. Let's see the broadcast priority. Yeah, so they would prioritize Arcata over HPC. Let's see, technical and quality considerations. So again, I think I already touched on this. The operators of Access Humboldt are not city staff. So when we do on-screen name cards and meeting logistics, like who's speaking, it's less accurate. And as I said, our senior IT, Derek Howard, does a really good job of doing that. Things have been running a lot smoother since they've taken over manning the cameras and changing name tags. So in a broader context, there's over 200 local boards, councils, and commissions countywide, and only 29 of them use Access Humboldt, or they did last year. And let's see, many agencies opted out due to the cost and scheduling limitations. And for consistency, Eureka decided to centralize all meetings under the city's YouTube channel rather than using a mix of Access Humboldt and city-managed streaming. So that's about it. Do you have any questions?
Is it feasible to broadcast this channel, use the YouTube channel to broadcast these meetings?
It is broadcast on the YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah. So right now it's live on YouTube. I actually, in city council last night, I love it. It's so much easier for my little thing at home. You go to YouTube, City of Eureka, and it pulls it right up.
Okay. I didn't realize we were live on the air.
Yep. And archived. And we're also on the city website. But yeah, if you just Google City Eureka on YouTube, it pops right up.
Any comments or questions? All right. Are there anything else from staff?
I think we do have some upcoming projects. I'm not sure if they'll be ready by the December meeting. So keep an eye out for that. If we don't have the December meeting, we certainly will have the January meeting, which will be kind of close to New Year's. But I just wanted to give everyone a heads up on that.
Okay. Are any other reports or communications?
I have one.
Please.
A few weeks ago, I made it to the Humboldt Association of Realtors Lunch and Learn meeting with Jill McDonald regarding buying historic properties, and took away that it was a challenging thing to do to buy a historic house because each jurisdiction handles them differently. The realtors that attended were a variety of knowledge bases. Some knew or had experience, and a larger proportion was probably all brand new to the subject. Some of the realtors had been surprised in the past. They hadn't looked things up properly before they sold the house, and that had turned into some expensive problems for their buyers. So this was great training. I'm glad that Jill put it on. The big takeaway was to make sure you check your jurisdiction and go check their individual policies, because we have different policies for Arcata, Eureka, Ferndale, and the county. It seem to be the major players. and they're all very different. The other takeaway was that there's very few carrots to offset the sticks, and it really would be delightful to find some other way to change that. There was a brief mention of the Mills Act, but not any great depth to that subject.
The Eureka Register, all of the properties, or at least originally, I suspect you've been following up on it, but all the original properties were, notice was recorded on title. So if no one is noticed about the status of the property prior to that point, the parties will see that information in the preliminary title report. And all they have to do is read it and understand it. All right. Any other reports or communications? Go ahead.
I just have a quick announcement. I'm going to be stepping down from the commission effective January, and I don't know if we're going to have a December meeting. So just wanted to make that announcement. It's been great pleasure to serve, and I'll miss serving for sure.
Well, you're welcome to come back.
Oh, thank you.
Well, we're sorry to see you leave, but thank you for letting us know.
There's one other item, which is really a carryover, eurekahistory.com. The website is up and running again. May we request a report on how it's being managed?
Yes, we'll add it to the agenda next time. Yep.
Thank you. Any other reports or communications? Then we move on to the public comment period. This is the point where any member of the real or virtual audience can address the commission on a matter within our jurisdiction. Is there anyone who wishes to address the commission? Seeing none, and seeing that there's no one in the virtual world wanting to talk to us,
I do see Director Kenyon with her camera on. Did you?
does she have her hand up?
No, I didn't have my hand up. I was just going to run down there afterwards to say goodbye to Liz, but I also wanted to just address Sean. I agree. I want to figure out more carrots in our code for historic properties. I'm working on an inland zoning code update right now, and I noticed in Arcata, they have a cap on vacation rentals, but if you have if your home is on the local register, you're not subject to that cap. So I'm proposing to add the same thing to our code to encourage people to buy the homes that are on the register, because then they'll be able to use them as vacation rentals, which I think is the overall good thing because they're expensive to maintain, and having a vacation rental really incentivizes you to maintain your property. But I'd love other thoughts and ideas on like different incentive ideas. So I'm all ears for ideas for carrots for historic properties.
Okay.
You can email them to me anytime, and I will
right.
forward them.
Does the commission wish to create a subcommittee or any formal group to consider this question? Not overwhelmingly enthusiastic response.
Yeah, I think what we could do is if you just have ideas, so as long as you aren't, communicating more than two about it, you could just send me your own thoughts. And then once we actually have a list, we could agendize it and then determine at that time if we want a subcommittee or just talk about it as the larger group.
Right. Then I will request that you put out an email reminder to the commission saying, hey, generate some ideas.
Will do. Thank you for that.
Sure. All right. So we went through the we are in the public comment period. Is there anyone else who wishes to address the commission at this point on a matter within our jurisdiction? Hearing no one, I will close the public comment period. Is there any additional business for the commission this afternoon? Seeing none, we stand adjourned until our next meeting. Thank you all for your time and attention.